If someone has ever told you that your blood pressure is too high, then there is a very good chance the first thing you heard was, cut back on salt. Maybe it was said casually. Maybe it came with a printed leaflet. Maybe you were told to stop eating chips, stop salting your food, and come back in 6 months. And to be fair, that advice is not completely wrong. But here's the uncomfortable truth that almost nobody explains clearly. It is not the full story, not even close. And the real problem? It's not that the advice is dangerous, it's that it's incomplete. And incomplete advice creates confusion. Pattern interrupt. Because right now, across the United States and globally, millions of people are doing everything right on paper, cutting salt, walking more, taking medication, and their blood pressure barely moves. They sit there wondering, what am I doing wrong? Let me tell you something very clearly.
In many cases, they're not doing anything wrong. I've sat across from patients like this. For nearly a decade in emergency medicine, I've seen the same pattern repeat itself over and over again. Higher readings, more medications, more frustration, and when nothing improves, the assumption becomes, the patient must not be following instructions. Pause. That assumption is often wrong. What this video will actually do so in this video, we're going deeper, not surface level advice, not eat less salt and hope. We're going to unpack what blood pressure really is, the 3 systems controlling it, why salt is only part of the equation, the overlooked role of insulin, and what actually works, based on real mechanisms, not guesses. And yes, this will be a longer video, but if you stay until the end, you will understand your blood pressure better than most patients ever do. What blood pressure actually is. Let's start simple. Blood pressure is the force your blood exerts against your artery walls. When you see a number like 130/80, that's 2 measurements. Systolic, top number. Pressure when the heart pumps, diastolic, bottom number. Pressure when the heart rests. Both matter. And here's something most people don't realize. Diastolic pressure, the bottom number, is often overlooked, especially in younger adults. Pattern interrupt. And here's where it gets serious. High blood pressure doesn't usually feel like anything. No pain, no warning. Just quiet damage. Over years, even decades. It wears down your body, your brain, your kidneys, your heart, even your eyesight. Until one day, it's not silent anymore. Dorothy's story. Let me tell you about Dorothy. She was 72, lived alone in Ohio, sharp mind, independent, proud. Her blood pressure, just a little high. Her doctor told her to cut salt. She did. She stopped seasoning her food entirely. Pause. 6 months later, her blood pressure was still high. A year later, she had a minor stroke. And when we reviewed everything, do you know what we found? It wasn't salt keeping her blood pressure high. It was something no one had explained to her. We'll come back to that. The 3 systems controlling your blood pressure. Your blood pressure isn't random. It's controlled by 3 core systems. Volume, how much fluid is in your blood resistance, how tight your blood vessels are, cardiac output, how hard your heart is working. Change any one of these, and your blood pressure changes. But here's the deeper truth. These systems are controlled by hormones and nerves, which means the real question is not, what number do you have? It's, what is controlling that number? The kidney system, RAAS. Your kidneys regulate fluid. They constantly decide, keep water or remove it. And they do this using something called the RAAS system, renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. This system constricts blood vessels, retains sodium, increases blood volume, pattern, interrupt. And here's something important. Many blood pressure medications only target this one system, blood vessels and nitric oxide. Inside your arteries is something critical, the endothelium. It produces nitric oxide, a molecule that tells your blood vessels to relax. More nitric oxide, chew lower pressure. Less nitric oxide, chew stiff arteries. And what damages it? Inflammation, high blood sugar, oxidative stress, chronic insulin elevation. Nervous system. Your body has a fight or flight system. When it's active, heart rate increases, blood vessels tighten, short-term, useful, chronic activation, dangerous, pattern interrupt. And here's the key question: what if something is activating all three systems at the same time? The missing link, insulin. This is where most conversations stop and where the real story begins. Insulin is not just about diabetes. It affects kidneys, blood vessels, nervous system mechanism. For one, kidneys. Insulin tells your kidneys, hold on to sodium, even if you're eating less salt. Mechanism. 2. Nervous system. Insulin activates sympathetic, fight or flight activity, keeping your body in a constant low-level stress state. Mechanism number 3. Blood vessels. Chronic insulin causes oxidative stress, less nitric oxide, stiffer arteries, higher pressure. Pattern. Interrupt three systems. One hormone, all pushing your blood pressure up. Harold's story. Now let me introduce you to Harold, 68 years old, retired mechanic, followed every rule, cut salt, walked daily, took medication. Still, his blood pressure stayed high. What changed everything? Not a new drug, not more restriction. He stopped snacking, reduced processed carbs, started eating real food. Within months, his readings dropped, medication reduced, energy improved, same man, different hormonal environment. Ultra-processed foods, the perfect storm. These foods don't just contain salt. They spike blood sugar, spike insulin, remove fiber, remove potassium. And potassium, almost nobody talks about it. Research Insight, DASH trial, NIH funded, showed BP reduction often credited to low sodium, but also due to high potassium intake. Intersalt study, population level sodium correlation, BMJ 2013 meta-analysis, potassium lowered systolic BP 3.5 mmHg pattern. Interrupt. And that small drop? At population level, massive reduction in stroke risk. Why potassium matters. Potassium helps excrete sodium, relaxes blood vessels, stabilizes electrical activity. Low potassium plus high sodium, disaster. What actually works, not random advice. Mechanism-based action. 1. Food quality. Whole foods. Lower insulin, increase potassium, reduce inflammation. 2. Meal timing. Stop constant eating. Let insulin drop. Pattern. Interrupt. Sometimes, it's not what you eat, it's how often. 3. Exercise boosts nitric oxide, even without weight loss. 4. Sleep, poor sleep, or higher BP. Sleep apnea, major hidden cause. Medication. The truth: medication works. It saves lives. But it treats the symptom, not always the cause. Pattern. Interrupt. Lower number solved problem. The real reframe: blood pressure is not just a salt problem. It is a full body signaling problem. Final takeaway. Three systems control your blood pressure: kidneys, blood vessels, nervous system. And one major modern driver affects all three: chronic insulin elevation. Fix the signal, and the system starts correcting itself. Not overnight, but consistently. Final emotional close. Dorothy never got that explanation. Harold did. Same condition, different outcomes. And now, you have that understanding. If you made it this far, that tells me something. You're serious about your health, and that is where real change begins.